Alright folks, welcome to yet another flipped classroom episode. Today we're going to be talking about special pairs of angles. Special pairs of angles. So let's check out what we've got in store today. So first things first, today we're going to be talking about these kinds of angles. Hopefully you remember what these are. We have one ray going this way, another ray going this way. They meet at a common endpoint and they create an angle. Now, do you know what special type of angle this is? Hopefully you remember that this is a right angle, right? This is a right angle, and how do you know? Well, whenever you see this symbol, that tells you it's a right angle. So right angle happens when two rays meet at a 90-degree angle, so that's a right angle. Now, let's say I spice up the situation. Let's say this is a right angle, and in the middle, I plop in another ray. Okay, so let me put some letters here so I can talk about these guys. Okay, so now I've got two adjacent angles, right? Do you see my two adjacent angles? I've got one angle here. Here's my first angle, and here's my other angle, my second angle. Okay, so what can I say about these two angles? In other words, what can I say about angle DBC and angle ABD? What can I say about them? Well, I can say these two angles are blank. They're blank, right? What do you fill in that blank with? Well, you fill it in with this word, complementary. Complementary. What does that mean? That means angles DBC and ABD add up to 90 degrees. So this is code word for angle DBC plus angle ABD equals 90 degrees. That's what this statement means. So when two angles are complementary, it just means they add up to 90 degrees. So that's one relationship we're going to be talking about more today, complementary angles. Let's check out another type of relationship, and that's going to be happening with these guys. Hopefully you remember what these guys are. Those are just a line. Oh my gosh. My drawing's out of touch today. Okay, so that's a line. And how many degrees in a line? Do you remember? Did I even explain? Well, a line has exactly 180 degrees. Okay, a line has 180 degrees. Now, here's the bajingo. Let's say I spice up the situation by putting some ray up here. So this ray creates two angles, right? Two adjacent angles. Here's my first angle. I'm shading it in right now. That's my first angle. And my other angle, my second angle, is this one. This larger angle. Okay, so I've got two angles. And what can I say about these two angles? Well, first let me put some names. Not trying to name names, but let's put some names. Let's say this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. It doesn't really matter what you call them, as long as, other people know what those are. So, A, B, C, D. Okay, so what are my two angles? My two angles are angle ABD, that's the cyan one, and angle DBC. That's the light blue one. And those two angles are blank. So you gotta fill in the blank. What's a blank? Well, a blank is supplementary, right? Before, we had two angles that add up to 90. They're complementary. Well, guess what? These two angles are supplementary. And what does that mean? That means this is a code word. This really is code word for angle ABD plus angle DBC adds up to, well, what does it add up to? What's the whole angle's measure? Remember, what's the measure of a whole line? Well, it's 180 degrees. So, what this is really saying is angle ABD plus angle DBC adds up to 180 degrees. That's all supplementary angles really means. It means you got two angles that add up to 180. Alright, so that's all fair and good. How about another cool relationship between angles? Well, guess what? Let's say I have this angle right here. This angle is, 60 degrees. Now, this angle is 60 degrees. let's say I have two other angles, okay? I'm not going to tell you their measures, but I'll just tell you this. I've got two other angles. Here's one of them, and here's another one. Now what I will tell you is that these angles, which I'll call A, B, and C, the angle B, let me give you some statements here. So I'm going to tell you angle B is complementary with angle, wow, we got some limited space here today, so I'm crowding up. Let me move this one down, and so hopefully we can get on our way. So angle B is complementary with, or to, angle A. I'll also tell you that angle C is complementary with angle A. Another way I could state this is angle A and angle B are complementary, angle A and angle C are complementary. In fact, let me do that. Okay, so, or you're going to see these things written a lot of different ways, so you got to get used to them, right? Angle A and angle B are complementary, okay? And the other relationship we had is angle C and angle A are complementary. Okay, so what does this tell us? What does this tell us? Well, remember what this is really code word for, right? When we say two angles are complementary, we're actually saying they add up to 90 degrees. So how does that help us, you might ask? Well, let me put this diagram right here, and maybe you can figure it out for yourself. So here's our three angles. I just told you that angle A and B are complementary. Another way to say that is angle A plus angle B adds up to 90 degrees. Same way, the next statement can be rephrased as angle A plus angle C equals 90 degrees. Well, what's angle A? We know what angle A is. It's 60 degrees, right? Angle A is just 60 degrees. Whoa, what is that? Dot. Anyway, so angle A is 60 degrees, so we can just plug that in. So instead of angle A, I'll write 60 degrees plus angle B equals 90 degrees. Okay, and for our second statement, we can write 60 degrees plus angle C equals 90 degrees. Well, check it out. That means angle B and angle C both have to be 30 degrees. So here's the moral of the story. We just figured out angle C is 30 and angle B is also 30. So that means angle B and C are equal. So if two angles are complementary or supplementary to the same angle, those two angles are equal. So in this case right here, we said that angle B and angle C are complementary to angle A. So they're both complementary, complementary to angle A. That means angle B has to equal angle C. And if you don't understand why, just rewind the video and try to understand how we came up with these two equations that both gave us angle B equals 30 and angle C is 30. So that's our third relationship. We talked about complementary angles, supplementary angles. We talked about how if two angles are complementary or supplementary to the same angle, then they're equal to each other. And the last thing we're going to talk about is these guys. Now these guys are a weird bunch. Probably looks like an X to you. But what I'm trying to communicate here is this. Let's say this is angle 1. Let's say this is angle 2. Now you get the gist. This is angle 3. And let me get another color up here. This is angle 4. So we got 4 angles, right? Now what can we say here? What can we say about these angles? Well, amazingly enough, this is almost like if you make a cross with your arms. So what's pretty cool about this is that this angle 1 here, right here, that angle is actually equal to this angle 3. Okay, and guess what? Angle 2 up here this green angle right here, angle 2, well, guess what? That's equal to angle 4. That's right, it's equal to angle 4. Isn't that amazing? And so what's so great about this? Well, these are actually so awesome. These kinds of pairs of angles are so awesome, they have a name. They're called vertical angles. Okay, vertical angles. So remember we learned about congruence? Well, we can actually say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. Okay, these sine angles are both congruent. In much the same way, we can say angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. Alright, folks, and those are the 4 relationships we've talked about today: complementary angles, supplementary angles, vertical angles, and if 2 angles are complementary or supplementary to the same angle, then they're equal. Thanks for watching this flipped classroom video. Let's check out the big idea.